Happy Thursday. Welcome to tonight's Team Zoom. We are going over all the things that we got to do and have experienced, all the things in Punta Cana. It was incredible. And we're all going to share. It's going to be Heather Head's team, Samantha's team, and my team sharing. So we're just going to dive right in. We're going to share a little bit about everything, what we loved, what we took away, what we experienced. For some people, this was their first big trip. And then for others, like me, I'm the dinosaur. I've been on like literally 9 leaders retreats. So, and this was the best one, I have to say. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. Samantha Vance is going to be the first one. She's going to take it over. So go ahead, Sam.
Hey y'all. Yeah, so still on that Leaders Retreat high. So what a perfect way to get back into Zooms. But yeah, Leaders Retreat was wonderful. I have not been on as many trips as Jessica, but I have been on quite a few now. And by far the best trip, the best, just everything. Everything about it was awesome. We had a lot of downtime this time, I think, which like made it a little bit more relaxing. Not so many rush things to do. So that was nice. But we did have a wonderful session that we took away some really awesome knowledge and things to keep in our back pocket and share with you guys. So yeah, I mean, honestly, it was all great. The first night was carnival theme. So um I think all you guys probably saw, how awesome the themes were and how everybody was dressed. It was really fun. They had some awesome dancers. And of course, Plexus does it right. They go all out. And then the last night they had the jungle theme. So that was fun. It was a night on the beach. That was probably my favorite night just because it was just like you were out there on the beach, but they had a big stage set up and y'all just know Plexus doesn't do anything like just mediocre. They blow it out of the park every time. So that was great. I know that y'all probably saw there was a worship session with 22 baptisms there. So that was really awesome to watch. I personally did not get to be there. We were at the other resort. A lot of my team, sorry, there goes my ring light. It's so dark in my room. Um, but anyways, my team, we actually all moved over to the next resort, which I will say it was wonderful, amazing. Don't regret it, but I do regret not being able to make it over to shuttle over to the worship session. Um, so anyways, that's kind of just a little bit of a recap. We did a lot of laying on the beach, laying by the pool. Like we didn't do anything just special. Sam did. She'll get to share that, which it was really cool what they got to do. But yeah, other than that, it was just a nice play. It was definitely super fancy, super nice, and all inclusive. So didn't have to spend a dime there unless you just wanted to. Um, okay, so there goes my light again, y'all. You're gonna see me do this a lot because it's so dark in here. Um, anyways, this might be a little bit scattered. I know we kind of all talked about like we were going to touch on some things that we took away. So this is in like no particular order. We just kind of listened to the different speakers, and I just really wanted to highlight what stuck out to me the most. So one of the say, oh gosh, there it goes again. Sorry. um, One thing that I took away that I never really even thought about was it says when your reference points are low, your expectations are low. And that I feel like that has to do a lot with like comparison and like where um, how you compare yourself to others, how you compare your journey to their journey. And when in your head you may think, oh, this like I actually have high expectations, but really that's setting you so far back. And so that really kind of hit me. Like I never thought about it that way, but it actually gives you a really low reference point, which makes your expectations low. Okay, sorry, it's just going to be dark. It keeps cutting off. But another one was like talking about, this was a statistic, and I know we've talked statistics in here before about like how many people would actually be open to joining a network marketing company. But this, I've never heard it this way. So it says 39% of adults would consider a side hustle. You heard that right, 39%. And we've heard that number, but this is the number that really got me more than the 39%. 4 out of 10 people are looking for you. 4 out of 10 people. That's almost 50%. So that kind of blew me away because it got me to thinking, like, how many people have I held the business back from in the past? And really, that's not our decision to make. That basically we're making the decision for them. We are setting the no for them if we don't discuss the business with them. And that's not fair to them. Regardless of how uncomfortable it may be for you, that's not fair to them. You're taking that opportunity, that option away from them completely. So that kind of hit me, like, and you should be just as excited about the business as you are the products. And it took me, I mean, I'm talking to myself here too. It took me a long time to feel like completely comfortable with talking about the business, but now it just rolls off my tongue. Like, I don't even think about it. I don't even hesitate to offer it because it's the people that you least expect that are usually the ones that need or want the business. And then Genevieve, she said something that really stuck with me, about how they had a car and they used to have to push the car, like their family had to push the car to get it to start. And Alec had kind of touched on it too. I think, or was it Gina? I don't remember. Anyways, regardless of who touched on it, basically it's talking about like you and your team, like you're pushing the car together. Like I mean, you can't get out and push that car to start on your own. So that you have to apply a little, when you're pushing the car together, then that makes you able to apply a little bit less effort to where you're not killing yourself pushing the car. And I feel like a lot of us can relate to that with our business because a lot of us, not all of us, have started out building a team immediately. Like we were doing it on our own. Like I went gold on my own and I about killed myself doing it. And I was like, this is not for me. I'm getting burnt out. And so I immediately shifted my mindset after I hit gold and I was like, you know what? I'm building a team. I don't care. Like, I don't care how I have to do it, but it's happening. And that's when I started getting runners because I started feeling comfortable enough to open up with the business. And I'm like, man, what if I would have started doing that right out of the chute? Like how much less burnout would I be? So yeah, that was a good little thing to think of in your head. Like you're pushing the car together so you're not having to pull all the weight on your own. And then Jamie Haskin, who is a diamond with Plexus, she actually won is it One Plexus, Jess, that she won last year? Yeah. Okay. She won the One Plexus award last year. And we got to see her come on stage at convention and she gave some good takeaways. But basically she's talking about a multi-layer approach. And she said, you have to set that tone immediately. It has to happen before they sign up. Like you can't wait, to change up the tone until later on. It's just so much easier when you set the tone before they even sign up. Set the right expectations. Always, always, always make sure you're setting your people up to not expect to feel so good, it just be the best journey ever. And you have to make sure that you are setting the expectations that like, do you want to commit to this? Because you're going to at least need to commit, I say 90 days, at least 90 days. And if they're hesitant, they may not be, you just want to make sure that you're setting the right expectations for them. Otherwise they're going to be very disappointed and they're going to feel like they were misled. And then she was talking about getting them on the phone. I don't know how many of y'all have had phone conversations about Plexus, but it is so much easier. And also, I've signed some people up over the phone, like I've actually did it for them while I was talking to them, but I actually love walking people through the process too, on the phone because it gets them familiar with the site. It makes them more comfortable if they were to share their link with somebody or want to sign somebody. They've already kind of like went through it themselves. Like, don't get me wrong. I love to just be like, give me all your information. Like, I'll just do it for you, but that's not really setting them up for success if they want to start, feeling comfortable enough to do that with other people. So if you can get them on the phone, just get them for 10 minutes and walk them through it. That is so helpful. Even if you have to FaceTime them and say, show me your screen if they get hung up. I just think it's a game changer, really. And then let's see what else. Tracy Fogel is a Emerald ambassador with Plexus, and she has a little bit of a unique story because not everybody has this kind of success. So you kind of have to take that with a grain of salt. Not saying it can't be done, but she grew like 700 and something points in a month. I think it was a month. Not ever that's not for everybody, but she had some really good talking points about like how she shifted her mindset to be able to start going in that direction. But she said she went from chasing points to chasing people. And y'all, I mean, we all know this business is not for us. If you have a me mentality, if you have a me mindset, you're not going to go far with Plexus. You have to have people, you have to have people in mind. You have to have relationships in mind. You can't get far if you're me focused because they're going to see that. It's going to be all written all over you. So just make sure that when you're, trying to set your goals and that you're helping, you're trying to help your team and help other people because that's going to move that needle further for you. It's not going to be all about, where you can get because you can't do it without the help. I mean, especially you get to certain ranks and you just won't do it alone. And then last but not least, I just wanted to touch on, a lot of times how we have to slow down to speed up. And that's so true. We get into this grind and this like pressure where we're just like, just nonstop and you're like, and then you get to a certain your point and you're like, what am I doing wrong? Because I'm grinding, I'm doing all the things that I think I know to do, but I haven't slowed down to really think about like, where are my weaknesses? Where do I need to grow? Where do I need to develop personally before I can keep moving? Because I think it just takes a lot of self-development and growth to be able to keep rushing along. Because I mean, you're gonna eventually get to a halt where you can't go on any longer until you figure out what the problem is. And then Alec, he said, he made such a good point there. Y'all know Alec and Jean, they are so family and faith oriented, over I eat, breathe, and sleep Plexus all day, every day. They, made a good point, which they remind us of this often, I feel like, but they tell us Plexus should be a part of your life, but it should not be your whole life. If somebody looks at you and they only see Plexus and they only are like, or you're one of those people they avoid because they don't want to, they know you're just gonna, Plexus on them, then, that's where it becomes an issue. You have to make sure that you have your priorities in line, and that, your faith and your family, and that comes first because, Plexus will always be there. And of course you have to work hard, but it needs to have its place in line. So that was really the main things that stood out to me from Leaders Retreat. So I hope y'all can tuck those away and keep them with you. And I hope that helped. So I will pass it on to the next person.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam. All right, now we're going to hear from the other Sam. I don't know. I think Natasha might have fallen asleep. So now we get to hear from Samantha Varner. Go ahead, girl.
Well, I wasn't ready yet. I was waiting for Natasha. I needed her energy.
True. Sorry, Sam. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
No, you have energy too, but Natasha's she gives me that the hype girl status.
You got this, girl. Go on. There you go. Take it over.
So it was just amazing. Like being there was amazing. Like you can't really dream about how actually like beautiful it is until you are actually there. Like my expectations went through the roof, and Plexus spoils us completely rotten. So now Jake's gonna have to be getting me in all-inclusive resorts for the rest of my life. So and we decided to do an excursion while we were there. I don't know how many people did excursions, but we did the jungle buggy ride. So we went into the jungle and went through a lot of mud And if you saw my pictures, you saw that my husband was a lobster and he was hurting very bad like the whole time, but he didn't listen to me and didn't put sunblock on. So it's his own fault. But we had a lot of fun on it. We got to go into the underground cave, and there was a waterfall, and we had one of their photographers take pictures of us, and it was just a dream. They showed us all about like their heritage, and then the first they weren't houses, they were just like little shacks pretty much that were there first on the island. And some of it was very pitiful because you got to go through their village, and I cried a lot because they had like all the kids were running through the street, and they had like raggedy clothes. Some didn't have clothes on at all. Most of them did not have shoes on, and they're walking all over the rocks and everything like that. But they seemed so happy because that's all they know. Like they lived in these tiny little shacks and they were full of joy. So it just made me really like realize how blessed that we are with how much that we have, and makes me want to just give back even more than we already do. But as for general session, I had a lot of takeaways, but some of the biggest ones were cutting ties with people that you are dragging with you. You don't want to drag anybody with you in this business. If you want it more for them than they want it for themselves, then you have to learn where to cut that tie or just stand back a little bit until they are ready to want it for themselves, because that's going to lead you to being burnt out completely. So you just got to learn who to put your energy into, who really, really wants this. And if you're giving somebody tasks to do or sending them these things and they're not applying it, then you probably need to put your energy into somebody else, because you don't want to sit there and just give them all of this stuff and want it so bad for them and them do nothing with it, because then you just ran yourself through the mud and racked your brain to try to help them as much as you can, but they don't really want it. So I thought that was really good, is just learning where to cut those ties and say, no, listen, we talked about this last time. You haven't done it. So come back to me when you've done that. And I thought that was just really beneficial, because once they see that you're serious, that you're not going to put in as much effort, then they'll start thinking and be like, okay, well, maybe I need to do something more, because she doesn't want to pour into me as much as she is. Because not that they don't care, but they don't see how much you do on the other side for them to try to get them where you envision them to be or where you want them to be. So don't drag anybody. There are people out there that will literally run beside you instead of behind you. So find those people. Another thing that I really loved was what Tracy Fogel said. She said that she doesn't have her people that say they want to share, make a first post. And I love that, because I feel like when people make that first post, they're either really, really overwhelmed because they have a whole bunch of people wondering what they're doing, or they get really discouraged because they don't have anybody like commenting or liking on that post. So I feel like it sets more realistic expectations to do it the way that she does it. And she asks them, she's like, if you were to move across country, who are the first 3 people that you would tell that you are moving? And those are the people that you need to message and tell them what you're doing, because those are the people that are going to care what you were doing. They're going to listen to you. And so that is definitely something that I am going to apply, because I thought that was just really beneficial. And some people might have more than 3 people that they would tell that they're going to move across country. So tell all of those people, but start with those people that care about you and your life and what you're doing, instead of making that post and just hoping and praying that somebody sees it and comments on it. And then another thing is, like, when you make that post and they do have people comment, they don't know what they're doing at all. So if they have a lot, then they're like, okay, well, what do I do next? Or they don't even respond to any of those people that are interested in it because they don't know what to do next, and they don't want to either overwhelm you or be a burden on you and ask what to do next. So I thought that was really good not to have anybody do the first post and just get straight to the point and say, who are 3 people that you can just call or talk to right now? And then, like, if you have people that say, no, not right now, maybe they want to know more about the products first, or they want to try them for themselves first, and you're circling around back to them, then you can do the same thing. You can be like, okay, you are loving your products. Who are the first 3 people that you want to tell about them? And then message those 3 people. You don't have to turn it into a business type thing. Just turn it into, okay, you know, these products work. I know there's 3 people in your life that you care about and need these products. Who do you want to tell about them? And then the other thing I took away was, if your people, if your business builders, if they want it bad enough, there are so many resources out there these days. You can literally go on YouTube and type in anything about Plexus that you want to know, and there's a training video about it. So let them know that. You should know that. Most people know how to use YouTube. But if not, let them know. Be like, because if they're hungry for it, they're going to go on there and they're going to research it. They're going to look for ways to create business builders. They're going to look for ways to be a good leader. They're going to look for all of these things, and you can find it literally right there without anybody. So let your people know that, because if I were to die today, I want the people that I have led and trained, I want them to be able to do it without me. So they could go to those resources, or go to Sam, because she's my upline, go to her if they need something. And then one other thing that I thought was great was, your name is on your business. There's nobody else's name that is on your business except for yours. So where you are at right now is because of you. It's not because of anybody else. So own your business and own where you're at and where you're going, and keep that vision. So that's all I got.
Yay, that was perfect. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate it. All right, awesome. Next, we're going to hear from Christy. All right, go ahead, Christy.
All right. Hi, guys. So, if you don't know, Plexus is amazing, you should, because let me tell you, I've been to many events, been to a couple leaders retreats, but this one was out of the country, and I've always had a bucket list to go on to an all-inclusive resort, and I've never been able to. And to be able to take Adam with me on this trip and get to him, for him to see everything, like what Plexus is all about, how they spoil you, they roll the red carpet out for you. It's just all the little details, and then the gifts. And it's incredible. Like, and to experience it even more, like, I envisioned myself there. I had Punta Cana written everywhere. Ask my family. It was in my car, on my fridge. It's still up here on my little board. I had it on by my mirror in my bathroom. Like, so you see it. And I really feel like that was a big change for me this go around, is to actually see it everywhere in my mind, map it out, make a plan. But Plexus goes above and beyond to spoil us. And to feel appreciated. I was at a company for 15 years. I never got the appreciation like they have in the amount of time that I've been here, and all the things we can earn monthly and the incentives. And it's just like, to be grateful for that is huge, that they do that every month too. So another thing is, one of the quotes that stuck out to me, I'm not even remember sure who said this, but it's not about the money, but it's about who you become in the process. And I can say that for me being here for so long, if people knew, just to see my journey, a lot of people, if you knew me before, I'm like a totally different person in so many ways because of Plexus. So it's not always about the money. It's not always about the products, but it's about who you become in the process, in the journey. So that stuck out to me, because that like I have grown so much as a person. Let's see. A big thing that stuck out to me is I started this business just to earn, a little bit extra money each month to pay for my products and to pay for my a little bit for expenses. I was a struggling single mama. So obviously I see myself more. Have I really envisioned it, really thought about it? To a point, it's like, yes, you want it, but so I want to ask you, where do you see yourself going? Have you ever thought about it? Whether you're new or you've been in here for a while, it's just like really think about, where do you see yourself going with this company? And I ask that because that's something I have done to a point, but not, I guess, to the extreme per se. Because you have to know where you're going if you want to build a business, go to be jewel status, diamond, whatever. You have to know where you're going because people will follow you more if you know where you're going. They have more confidence in you, more faith in you. And and it's not about it's what they say, focus on the process and not the perfection of it. As long as you're showing up every day committed, you don't have to be perfect. We're on these Zooms in our pajamas today, like we ain't perfect, so it's just about doing it. So yeah, the big thing was to have clarity, know where you're going, and then find belief. This was I think it was Genevieve that says, she told us all to look at each other and tell, oh, you're great, you're amazing, you're spectacular, whatever. But then she was like, what about you? You're great, you're amazing, you're all those things, you to yourself. So you don't compare yourself to others. Oh, they're great, like Jess is amazing, but what about me? So have that belief in yourself that you're just as amazing and can do the things. So that was one big thing. I know, I forget the same number 2 that spoke. She talked about not dragging people along. That was huge. I've been in those seasons. You cannot, if people don't want it bad enough, you cannot exhaust yourself. I've been there, and you just at some point have to cut the ties, and it's no harm to them, no foul, but you cannot exhaust yourself and keep pouring into something that's not filling their cup. So that spoke highly to me too, especially people who have been doing this for a while. At some point you've got to put your focus elsewhere to the people that want it like you. And even if it's just getting their products paid for and a few $100 extra a month, then help them do that, pour into them. But so yeah, so that was big, the clarity, and you're great. Let's see, I took a bunch of notes in my phone. And you only fail when you quit. I've been in this for so long. I could have quit long time ago. I could have quit years ago. I could have quit last year when my business was low. But guess what? I wouldn't have been in a leaders retreat this past week. So, you cannot fail if you don't quit. So that's pretty much what I have to say.
Yay! And I'm super proud of you for being there. You did an amazing job. Y'all, when she got there a day early, and she told me, she says, I'm going to be at Leaders Retreat. And she had an alarm go off on her phone when she got there. And I about cried. I was like, oh my God, she did it. And she sent it to all of us. And it was like probably my favorite part of the whole trip because she believed in herself. And that's honestly what it takes. I have a bunch of things. Everybody has shared amazing things, but hi, if y'all don't know me, I've been with Plexus for almost 10 years, and this is not my first rodeo, but this was my favorite leaders retreat. It was the first one out of the country. And let me tell you guys, when my first leaders retreat happened, number one, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Number two, I didn't know what a leaders retreat was. I was pregnant with my first baby, and my husband drove separately, and he came and met us. And DC was great. Every trip we've ever been on has been amazing. And I've won every single leaders retreat since I have been with the company. And all it came down to, it wasn't motivation. It was honestly discipline. I decided one day I was going to draw my line in the sand and say, I'm going to do this. I don't care what it takes. I tell my husband every day, when I'm diamond, when, not if, but when I'm diamond, this is going to happen. And when I do this, and every single time that there is a trip released or anything, I don't question it. I don't even look at the contest thing. I put it right in our family calendar. And I tell him, I said, hey, Leaders Retreat or Diamond, whatever, anything is released, I put it right in our calendar. I don't question it. I say, I'm going to do this. And after that, I plan and I make the action. So there are so many things that you guys need to start doing. Plexus, when they do things, they do it big. They do not play small. And the reason that we have like convention, like once a year, and the only reason that we have Leaders Retreat once a year, there are like 3 big events once a year. And when they do those things, it is huge. So huge. They go all out for us. But in those time spans of it not being big things and you're not going to things, those are the seasons. That is when you show up. When in between life, your husband gets into a car accident, you have babies, you go through a divorce, you get married. When you are in the depth of life, that is when you have to pull out and say, motivation's not going to do it today. We don't all want to show up. It's called discipline. And discipline will always outweigh the motivation and you deciding to show up every single day, because you're not going to find it. Seriously. It takes the discipline. You have to draw your line in the sand and say, I'm going to start showing up to work every single day, even when it's hard, even when my kids are sick, even when I don't feel like it, even when I don't know what I'm doing. And there's so much for me to do, and there's laundry to be done, and there's dishes to be done, because it's all going to be there every single day. But you have to decide, I'm going to do it anyways, no matter how hard it is, and who is telling me no, who's making fun of me, who's not liking my post. That is when you have to show up the most. So some statistics that I really, really liked that I took away from it is that 85% of people find 85% of success comes from what you tell yourself. And I cannot tell you guys this enough, that even if you think, oh, I don't like this outfit, well, that one little thought is going to stem and tell you so much, and you're going to convince yourself, and you're going to have all these kinds of beliefs. Oh, I don't feel like posting today because, and it's going to create these crazy thoughts that are going to stem and create bigger thoughts. And then you're going to start believing it. When you say these things, you convince your brain something that is not true. And then you start convincing that about your business or whatever. You have to start thinking correctly. And the way to to think bigger and better is mindset growth. And you have to read books. You have to start paying attention to what you're listening to every single day, what you're telling yourself, what you're telling your kids, everybody. Like literally everything you take in and you say, it has so much effect on your life. And I really believe that people don't realize that. And that's probably the biggest thing I've ever learned with Plexus. I've learned so much. I am not the same person I was 10 years ago. I'm such a better person because of this. And it's because of all these things that they tell you to apply to your life. It's not just your Plexus business. When you grow in your Plexus business, you're going to grow so much in your mindset, your financial health, your mental health, your physical health, in so many aspects. This is not just you selling a pink drink. You're improving your life in every aspect. Lead people, don't chase the orders or the points. That is so important. If y'all don't know what you're doing, ask your upline. But at the end of the day, your goal should be to build leader legs. And a leader leg is a gold leg. And if you don't know how to do it, think 4x4. If you don't know that a gold is 4 people helping 4 people. If you're not there yet, there you go. There's your math. There's your plan. Now go put it into action. And think about, by the end of 2024, if you go gold and you help 4 other people go gold. So stop thinking, oh, I have to go talk to 50 people today and I have to recruit those 50 people. No, it's you talking to 4 people and them talking to 4 people and helping them. If they want to do it, great. On to the next person. Not in a bad way, but find and lock arms with those people who want to do it with you. Do not drag the people, because you're just going to exhaust yourself, them, and then you're not going to want to do it. But go find those people who really do want this. And Sam had touched on 39% of people are looking for a side hustle. Y'all, 44% of those people are saying that they want to do that for the rest of their life. And guess what? I'm one of those people. And I was one of those people who, when I saw this business, I didn't go and ask my sponsor. I was the hungry person that sat there and taught myself, listened to YouTube videos, and did all the things and said, I don't care what it takes, how long it's going to take me, but I'm doing this. And at the end of the day, my team knows you can come with me or you're not. I'm doing it. And it's just discipline, not motivation. People are going to come and go, period. Get over it. But that's okay. You have to lead them with you for the lifetime or for that season that they're with you. So just get over it and don't have a bad day just because the 2-second conversation didn't go the way that you thought it would. And then take slow seasons and plateaus to grow through what you go through. Just grow. You're going to have seasons of life that are going to be hard. You're not going to like it. Your points are going to suck. People are going to suck, but get over it. It's okay. Grow through it. And I think that's it. I'm done. Go ahead, Katie.
Okay. Well, y'all touched on a little bit of everything that I was going to touch on, so I'm just going to say ditto to all that. Tracy was, and I actually just messaged her. I actually reached out to her, Tracy Fogel. She was one of the ones who spoke during our session. And I actually reached out to her yesterday, and we were talking because I wanted just to ask her like her opinion and her tips and things that she like what she suggested I do to grow my business, because she did have this big awesome testimony. And like Sam said, not everybody has that kind, sometimes that just happens for people, but it didn't actually just happen for her. I reached out to her and I was like, tell me all the things. And she's like, I know what you're wanting is for me to tell you that I had this specific event and I had like 7,000 people join me. She said, and that is not the case. She said, and one of her points that she made is slow down to speed up. And so what she did, she just dove into leadership training. She watched videos, she read books, and she really took inventory of the people that she had on her team. And like they were saying before, like who is going to run with me? Who am I not going to have to drag through the mud to get them to where they say that they want to go? If they want to go, they're going to go. She also touched on building relationships. So that's something that she really focused on as well. She had like a 700-point growth in 1 month, but that was from November to June, working on herself and training her team in leadership qualities. She wasn't just magically woke up one day and did an event to, give away prizes to grow. And she has never fallen back from that. She went Emerald July 2020, I think she said, and she has not went below Emerald points since. She's continuously growing. You need to know who you're looking for as a business builder and as a leg to run with you. No, and I think, I don't know if it was her that talked about it, but somebody that's like you, that's what you want to look for. Somebody that's driven and motivated and disciplined, as Jess said, somebody that's going to just do the dang thing. And, every once in a while we need help. I reach out to Sam often. Samantha Vance is my upline. I reach out to her a lot. I've reached out to Jess before. She's my sideline. We all need help every once in a while. We're not saying that you can't ask for help, but whenever you do have questions and stuff, the first thing you need to do is try to find the answer yourself first, because that's what's going to build a leader. You can't, I listened to a podcast today, one of Brittany Howard's podcasts today, and it was talking about that. Like, first, go research yourself. Go to the Help Center. We have lots of answers there. The app, we have lots of answers there. YouTube. I mean, there's so many different places that you can look and find answers. And to be a good leader and to be, me too, Jess. I go to the center a lot. To be a good leader and to be able to lead other people, you're going to have to work on leadership skills yourself. You can't depend on your upline or your sideline or even your downline to do that for you. You have to do it for yourself. be clear about where you are going and make sure that you express that to your team. I had set, and I've showed people hear this and they're going to be mad at me because I'm fixing to say something it's going to upset them. I set a huge goal when I was in Punta Cana. And I'll just be completely honest. I have not hit Senior Ruby since I ranked Senior Ruby in July. And so whenever I was sitting there, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for Emerald next month. And the more I thought about it and the more I mulled it over in my head, I was chasing the points and the rank, and I wasn't focusing on my team in that moment. I was reaching out to Sam. I was reaching out to Heather, trying to come up with something. How am I going to get to these points? How am I going to do this? And I sat down in my living room yesterday after talking with Tracy a little bit and just praying and mulling it over in my head. And I just broke down and I was like, okay, I need to reevaluate. Number one, I need to work on my leadership skills, and I need to work on reaching out to my team and seeing what they need versus trying to just hit another rank. Sure, it would be a life-changing thing, but I think if you go about it the wrong way, you're not, just like I did with Senior Ruby. I didn't necessarily go about it the wrong way, but I haven't hit those points again because I'm not actually building a legacy business. I'm just chasing a rank and I'm just throwing out money to hit something once. So I would rather, I don't know about y'all, I would rather be able to hit Emerald and stay there and continuously hit Emerald. And then the last one was slow down to speed up. So that's exactly what I plan on doing. I feel like this leaders retreat, this was my first one, my actual leaders retreat that I have earned. And I feel like it was very eye-opening for me as a leader for my team. We have some big shifts coming, some big things happening. We are going for Emerald, but we are not going to run there. We are going to gradually get there. So that's what I had. The island's beautiful. Next leaders retreat, y'all need to work really, really hard. Write it down. I haven't written down the convention one yet, but I write it on my board. You will sweep this contest. And every time I've written it, I've done it. This contest looks a little bit more difficult, but we're going to go for it. We're going to try. Thanks for listening to me.
I love it. Yes, you are like 83% more likely to achieve a goal when you write it down. And my team knows that. If y'all ain't writing your goals down, you ain't achieving your goals because you don't have it written down. You don't believe it because your brain's not telling or listening to it. So write down your goals. I love it. Yes, the island was beautiful. I told my husband, I said, I think I've been Hawaii, been to Mexico twice. We've been all over. We travel, and mostly with Plexus. And once you travel with Plexus, you will never want to travel again without Plexus. But I've been to many, many places. And I will say that I think Punta Cana was my favorite color of water I've ever seen. That always excites me. And it's like immediate serotonin, and it's amazing. But yeah, so does anybody have any questions before we end this Zoom call? I know it was long, but we just experienced so much and we loved it all. If you want to unmute and ask any questions, go for it. Mexico.
After questions, I want to say one more thing too that just hit me that I said to my team that I forgot to say in here.
Sure.
But y'all ask questions first. Don't everybody talk at once.
Nobody? Okay. What do you want to say, Sam?
Okay, real quick. I was just going to go back to like building relationships. So I personally, like in my leadership, I know that I have a lot to work on because I am more relational than I am business. I get so attached to the people and the relationships that sometimes I lose focus on my leadership and my business. So I'm working on that, but I also wanted to like touch on like, if you don't like provide good customer service to your people, like let's just say that you signed them, you might have followed up once and then it's like been a year since you talked to them. How do you think they're going to respond if you're like trying to hit this big goal or you're like messaging them about a sale, like some kind of promo going on? Like they are going to be like, I'm just another transaction to her. And, if you build the relationship like throughout throughout their journey, they're so much likely to respond in a manner that is going to help you when you need it the most, or, come to you if they have an issue with products. But if like we just leave them high and dry, and then we're like scrambling to hit this rank, and we're like, okay, I'm going to message all my people, and they haven't heard from you in a year, they're going to be so much less receptive to what you have to say. So just, make sure that in the nooks and crannies of your day, if you can't fit it in, just try so hard to make sure you're reaching out to your people, and just checking on them and making sure they're okay. Even if they don't message you back, that's on them, not you. Sorry, I just had to say that.
No, it's true. That's so true. We are a relationship business, not a number business. It's true. Anybody else want to say anything? Go ahead.
I want to say something real quick.
Mhm.
So I was sitting here looking over some of my notes, and I forgot to say that. So I was talking about cutting ties, but you don't want to cut ties with everybody. Like, that's why you have to talk through people and know what their vision is and what their goals are, because they're not all going to be the same. Some people may say, okay, I want to hit gold by the end of the year. So in my mind, because I hit gold so fast, that is kind of slow and steady, but that is their goal, and it's still a goal. So you still have to be there for them and pour into them. So don't cut ties with people like that still have the goals and are still trying. But the ones that say that they want it bad, but aren't putting the actions to the words, those are the ones that you need to not put as much effort into and put all of your energy into. That's all.
Awesome. All right. Anybody else? Questions, comments? No? Okay, awesome. I'm going to get this recording out and I will put it in the team page, and